selected, press S to scale and bring it up to 1.8. Now that seems kind of huge right now, but you'll see later that it's not that huge. Now what we need to do is either just select this bottom half or deselect this top half. Now I personally would rather deselect the top half, and you might learn a nice new shortcut in the process. So press B to activate box select, but instead of left click and drag as usual, you want to do middle click and drag around all these top vertices, including the equator. That's deselects, and it's really useful. If you're emulating a 3-button mouse, you can also use alternate left click. So either way, just use the deselect box or box deselect instead of box select. So what you want to do is delete these bottom vertices. So X delete. Now select this bottom one, this bottom edge ring, and extrude it, scale it down to 0.5. Now this brings it down to 0.9, the size of the stem. So 90% of the size of the stem. However, we want it the same size as the stem. So what you want to do here is scale it up again, this time by 1.11111111. Now, of course, with the subsurf activated, it doesn't look very precise, but if you deactivate it, you can see that the vertices align perfectly. Okay, sorry about that, I'm back. Had to go get a glass of water, because this being my second run through, my throat was a bit tired. Okay, so where were we? Well, we had this center edge ring which we had just rescaled. So that's basically it for the mushroom cap. So let's go in, activate the subsurf here, activate the subsurf here, and just bring it up to 2, turn on optimal display as usual, and just Z out of wireframe mode. And we get this pretty nice looking Super Mario mushroom, if I say so myself. I mean, what did it take? Maybe 15 minutes? Max? Yeah, so that's basically it. So let's rename this mesh. That's our mushroom underscore cap. Because we're going to have a green mushroom as well, which is where we're going to be using nodes. Because we're going to be using the exact same texture as the red cap. We're just going to use a node setup to change the color from red to green. So it's really going to save some time. Okay, so the only thing missing is the eyes of the mushroom. So let's add those. So Shift A, add Mesh Plane. Now tap into Edit mode, rotate the plane 90 degrees around the x-axis. So that's RX90, and just scale it down to 0.1. Now 0.1 is relative to its normal size, which is 2 Blender units wide. So that would give us 0.2 wide right now. But let's resize this. Scale up. I'm not going to use the snapping right now. I'm just going to use the plain old scaling. And maybe just recenter it right about there. And however, right now they're on the inside. It's on the inside of the mushroom. So let's bring it all the way back up. I was in side view, by the way, so maybe that's a bit close. Okay, now we're just going to leave it like that. Just going to rename it our mushroom underscore eyes. Okay, there's just one right now, but you'll see what I'm going to do. Did I rename these? No, I did not. Okay. Don't forget to change the data block name in the object data as well. I don't know what that actually does, but I'm sure it's good. I just have to look up what exactly it does. So what we're going to do here to get the same eye on the other side is add a mirror modifier. So go into your modifiers panel, add modifier, mirror. Now we can just leave it on X. And that should be perfect. Perfect. Great. So that's perfect. And we're just going to add another subsurf here. So minimize this modifier, add a subdivision surface modifier, bring it up to 2, turn on optimal display, and well, here we're going to make a design decision. I personally I'm going for slightly more square eyes, but if you're doing something like this, you can have the rounded eyes if you want, because seriously, the same techniques apply to this as to this design as this one. At least I think, because I've never made the more modern ones. I've made the more classic design from Super Mario Bros. 1. Anyway, let's tab into edit mode if you're making square eyes, and press Ctrl R to bring up the loop cut tool. Left click and just bring it all the way to either side. Move it along the x-axis 0.03 and just repeat the same step but on the other side. And like that. Yeah, that seems good. Maybe scale them down a bit. Oops, not XS. Just bring it back in. Yeah, that seems good. So there's one thing we have to do now, so just so we can see the difference between the objects more easily. We're going to add a material, and it's actually going to be the final material since we won't be adding any textures or anything. So just click New and rename the material. We'll call it our mushroom eyes. So we don't need to copy this right now, or actually at all. So just change the diffuse color, bring this all the way down to black. Okay, these ones are more brownish, but I'm making them black. My mushrooms, I'm deciding. So just bring down the specularity since we won't need it, and that's it. So now we can just see the difference between the objects a bit more easily. Next step, let's just select all these objects, and if you have the tools panel activated here, you can just press smooth. Now if you don't, you actually have to. You can either bring it up by pressing T, or go into each individual object, select your mesh, press W, shade smooth. Now that seems a bit too like too many steps in there, so I just activate the tools panel and just go right there. Anyway, whoops, what am I doing on frame 204? There. Oh wait. Oh no, okay. I don't know how it gets up to there. Maybe I sometimes click here by accident. But anyway, let's add a material to this mushroom stem, and it's a very simple material. So just click Add New, call it our mushroom underscore stem, and just change it over to some pinkish yellowish thing like that. Let me check. Okay, maybe a tiny bit more pink in there to bring it back towards the red.